It's 11:47 p.m. Your account balance reads 0. The rent cleared this morning. Every dollar you earn is already spoken for before it hits your account. The paycheck arrives on Friday. By Saturday morning, your account is just a holding tank. 3 subscriptions you forgot to cancel quietly drain $11 a month each. You tell yourself next month will be different. But the structure hasn't changed, and it won't. You are managing cash flow. That is not the same as building wealth. Not even close. A $400 car repair isn't an inconvenience at this level. It's a full financial crisis. You put the $400 on the card, you pay the minimum. The interest charges you $9. At this level, money isn't a tool. It's an emotion you carry into every decision. Your coworker just leased a $48,000 SUV on a $55,000 salary. You watch and say nothing. You're not losing. You're simply not accumulating. And that difference is everything. Lifestyle and wealth are not the same thing. Most people never learn that distinction. The machine that builds wealth hasn't started for you yet. That's the only real problem. Every person who ever built something real started exactly here. In the zero, in the wait. You open a savings account on a Tuesday night. You transfer $50. It feels strange. It took 3 months. You cut 1 subscription. You transferred $50 after every paycheck. It didn't feel like saving. It felt like losing money slowly. But the number kept growing. Then one morning, the balance reads $600. You check it twice just to be sure. You check the balance more than you need to, not because it's enough, but because it exists. The first $1,000 isn't about the money. It's proof that you can hold capital. The system has a gap in it. You found it. $50 at a time, you found it. You will hit an emergency before you hit $1,000. It always works that way. For the first time, you have a real choice, the card or the savings account. Choose carefully. You pull from the savings account. Most people do. You feel guilty the moment it clears. That guilt is useful. It means the identity shift has started. You are not the same person. You start the transfers again. $50 said then 50 more. The number climbs back up. You are no longer someone who has no savings. That distinction is worth more than $600. You are someone who is building something, and that is a different identity. It changes everything. You open a high-yield savings account at midnight after reading one article. 4.7%. 6 months later, your balance reads $4,200. You didn't expect that. The interest deposit arrives on the first of every month. $16.43. Free. It's $16. It's nothing. You screenshot it anyway. The proof matters more than the amount. Your target is $8,100, 3 times your monthly expenses. Halfway there, a flat tire costs $220. You pay it from your checking. Savings don't move. You check the savings balance after. It still reads $4,200. Untouched, intact. That buffer changes how you operate, at work, in conversations, in every financial decision you make. You start saying no to things you used to charge, not because you can't, but because you decided. You start watching other people's financial decisions differently. You don't judge. You just understand. Your friend went to Bali and came back with $3,000 in credit card debt. You say nothing. Your income rises by $400 a month. The default is to spend it. You already know that. The discipline is to save it instead. You set up the auto transfer before you can talk yourself out of it. You are building something invisible. Nobody around you can see it yet. The account balance can. You've learned to be patient with capital. Most people never develop that skill. You have it now. You have $31,000 split across 3 accounts. Emergency fund, Roth, IRA, brokerage. The emergency fund is fully funded. $9,600 sitting in liquid. It doesn't move. The brokerage holds 3 index funds: total market, international, bonds. You rebalance once a year. Money stops being an emergency at this level. It becomes a tool. That is a completely different relationship. You've hit $10,000 before. A job transition wiped it. A medical bill finished the rest. Then 8 months of lifestyle drift. Nothing dramatic, just slow spending that never stopped compounding. You rebuilt it twice. That experience gave you something no spreadsheet can. You know you can recover. You negotiate your salary for the first time. The cushion means you can afford to walk away. They offer less than you asked for. You stand up, you thank them, you walk out the door, you turn down the overtime shift. Your time has a competing asset now: compounding capital. Your $31,000 generates $1,450 annually without you touching it. That's income from capital, not from your body. You understand now why wealthy people talk differently about money. At some threshold, money stops needing you. You're not there yet, but you can see it from here. You're not afraid of your bank account anymore. That's what $31,000 actually buys. You've been inside the machine long enough to see how it really works. The gears are visible now. You have $74,000 in savings and invested assets. The number still surprises you. The Roth IRA is maxed before January 31st, $7,000. Automated, non-negotiable. The 401k captures the full employer match. You treat free money with the seriousness it deserves. The brokerage auto invests $1,200 every month. It's been running for 2 years without interruption. You run the compound growth projection at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday. The number unsettles you. At 7%, the $74,000 doubles in 10 years. But you'll keep adding. The real number is larger. Investing stops feeling like a gamble at this level. It becomes mechanical, a process, not a prayer. The portfolio drops $11,000 in 6 weeks. You watch it fall, you don't touch it. The auto invest runs anyway. $1,200 buys more shares at the bottom. You already knew that. The upgraded apartment, the car that matches your salary, the vacations filling everyone's feeds. You make calculated exceptions. You know exactly what each one costs in future compounding capital. Your savings rate sits at 30%. You track it every month. It is the only number that truly matters. The conversations you want to have about compounding and withdrawal rates, most people can't have them. The discipline is a superpower and a quiet loneliness at the same time. Both things are true. Nobody around you can see what you are building. That is fine. The account balance sees it. You have $210,000 in invested assets. The number has its own momentum now. Last year, your portfolio returned $14,300. You did not work a single extra hour. $14,000. That is nearly 6 weeks of your salary. Produced by capital, not by your body. You stop thinking about saving money. You start thinking about deploying capital. The language has changed. The person who panicked over a $400 bill is functionally gone. You barely remember being him. Financial decisions compound in both directions. The car you lease costs far more than the monthly payment. You have internalized the math so deeply that it runs in the background of every purchase you make. Above $200,000, certain financial products begin appearing that were not there before. You hire a fee-only financial advisor, not for the advice, for the second opinion on what you already know. Your advisor mentions alternative allocations for the first time. You listen. You do not move yet. You stay with the index funds. You have learned that simple beats clever at this level. Every time. The world of money is expanding around you. The architecture of wealth is becoming visible in new ways. You read differently now. You ask different questions. You notice things in conversations that others walk past. You have been inside the machine long enough now. The gears are not hidden anymore. You can see all of them. The portfolio sits at $210,000. Next year, it will be larger. It does not need permission. You have $740,000 in invested assets. The number has weight now. The math says you do not need to add another dollar. Compound growth carries it from here. You could coast. You do not stop contributing, but knowing you could change everything about how you show up to work. Financial freedom stops being a fantasy at this level. It becomes a timeline. You have a date. You have modeled this across 17 different spreadsheet scenarios. You know the variables by memory: the 4% rule, the 3.5% rule, sequence of returns risk. These are not concepts anymore. You run out of money at 79 or die with 1.8 million untouched. You choose your rate carefully. You are close enough to freedom that the job feels optional. Not quite close enough to actually leave. Too far along to tolerate mediocrity. Too close to the finish line to risk the portfolio. That gap is its own pressure. You research geographic arbitrage. A lower-cost city extends the timeline by 3 full years. You note it. Some people find your discipline inspiring. Others find it alienating. Both responses tell you something real. Withdrawal rates, tax-efficient drawdown, asset allocation at retirement. Most people cannot have these conversations. You are not isolated. You are operating on a frequency that most people around you have not reached yet. The money is nearly there. 4 years, maybe 6. Life still has to catch up to the number. The auto-invest runs. The Roth is maxed. The match is captured. The machine does not stop for your feelings. You have $1.4 million in invested assets. There is no alarm you did not choose to set. You wake up without an alarm for the first time in 11 years. The ceiling looks different from here. The portfolio generates up to $70,000 annually at a 4 to 5% withdrawal rate. Every expense is funded by capital. Your labor is now entirely optional. That sentence took 12 years to earn. You monitor the portfolio twice a month. You rebalance once a year. The system runs without your urgency. Tax loss harvesting runs in the background. Your advisor manages it. You review it twice a year. That is all. This is not freedom from financial decisions. It is freedom from financial urgency. Those are completely different things. You run Roth conversion ladders during low-income years. Precision instruments, not survival tools. You thought financial freedom would feel triumphant. It does not. It feels quiet. Unexpectedly quiet. The urgency is gone. The drama is gone. What remains is time and a question you were not ready for. What do you actually want to do with the time? That question is harder than any savings calculation you have run. Some people go back to work, not for the money, for the structure. The money removed the need, not what they want. Freedom turns out to be a design problem. The account removed the constraint. Life is yours to construct. The account does not tell you what to do next. It never did. That was always going to be your job. You built the machine. The machine runs. What you do with the time was always the harder question. Somewhere right now, someone opens a savings account for the very first time. They transfer $50. They stare at the balance as if it might disappear. They check it 3 times. It still reads $50. They think this is about having enough money to stop worrying. They do not know yet what it will actually become, but they will.